Isaacman will be a strong leader who sees that Artemis 2 launches safely, successfully, and without delay. He must then turn to Artemis 3, landing Americans on the moon before China, which is aimed at sending its own taikonauts there by 2030. NASA cannot take its eyes off the ball. Fortunately, Congress has given clear direction and substantial funding to achieve this goal. In the One Big Beautiful Bill, President Trump and a Republican Congress committed nearly $10 billion to specific parts of the space program, including the Space Launch System and future lunar missions of Artemis 4 and 5, the Gateway Space Station at the Moon, and the International Space Station. The vision for NASA enshrined in the One Big Beautiful Bill is unambiguous, and Congress expects that it will be executed faithfully. And I will note that our friend and colleague, Senator Katie Britt from Alabama, has come to join us. Alabama obviously has intense interest in NASA and space, and Senator Britt, we welcome you to the committee this morning.
In a world where global competition is accelerating and the race to the moon is no longer a dream but a deadline, America faces a defining moment. Today, the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation gathers to decide who will lead NASA into the next era of exploration, an era shaped by ambition, innovation, and the urgent need to stay ahead. With new challenges rising from China and the future of space travel hanging in the balance, every decision made in this room could shape humanity's next giant leap.
Transportation will come to order. Today we will consider the nominations of Jared Isaacman to serve as Administrator of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, which I have to say for a moment feels a bit like Groundhog Day, and also Stephen Haynes to serve as an Assistant Secretary of Commerce. NASA is at the forefront of American leadership in science and technology. It is critical to our national security amid what I have called the second space race. But the agency finds itself at an inflection point. Its next leader must be both disciplined and purposeful, candidly assessing what is working and what is not, while recognizing that each policy decision has trade-offs. NASA can't do everything it wants to. The agency must prioritize if we are to beat China back to the moon and then to Mars. If confirmed, Mr. Isaacman will be taking the helm just as NASA is set to launch Artemis 2, the agency's first crewed use of the Space Launch System rocket and the first crewed mission on the Orion spacecraft, which will bring American astronauts closer to the lunar surface than at any point since 1972. I know Mr. Isaacman will be a strong leader who sees that Artemis 2 launches safely, successfully, and without delay. He must then turn to Artemis 3, landing Americans on the moon before China, which is aimed at sending its own taikonauts there by 2030. NASA cannot take its eyes off the ball. Fortunately, Congress has given clear direction and substantial funding to achieve this goal. In the One Big Beautiful Bill, President Trump and a Republican Congress committed nearly $10 billion to specific parts of the space program, including the Space Launch System and future lunar missions of Artemis 4 and 5, the Gateway Space Station at the Moon, and the International Space Station. The vision for NASA enshrined in the One Big Beautiful Bill is unambiguous, and Congress expects that it will be executed faithfully. And I will note that our friend and colleague, Senator Katie Britt from Alabama, has come to join us. Alabama obviously has intense interest in NASA and space, and Senator Britt, we welcome you to the committee this morning. Investments in hardware alone won't guarantee mission success. Equally indispensable is NASA's workforce. Houston's Johnson Space Center is home to one of the most capable, experienced, and mission-driven workforces in the world. JSC is home to our astronaut corps, America's spacefaring heroes, who represent the best of our nation. Preserving that talent is essential, and I trust that JSC will continue to thrive under Mr. Isaacman's leadership. Mr. Isaacman, I believe, will prioritize stability, accountability, and respect for the men and women who make the agency's missions possible. As the commander of Inspiration 4, the first all-civilian spaceflight, and the first private citizen to walk in space, he knows that every successful mission depends on the skills and the dedication of its crew, as well as the countless professionals supporting them from the ground. Mr. Isaacman, I know that you are as committed to American supremacy in the final frontier as is this committee and the entire Senate. The United States must remain the unquestioned leader in space exploration. And this imperative is why we need to confirm your nomination as expeditiously as possible. My hope is that you will be confirmed and in this role before the end of this year. Finally, a word about our nominee to lead industry and analysis within the International Trade Administration at the Department of Commerce. If confirmed, Stephen Haynes will also help us compete with China. He will support U.S. companies with actionable market intelligence, help them navigate trade barriers, and identify opportunities for expansion into foreign markets. He brings experience as a Foreign Service officer and from across multiple federal agencies. Both our nominees before us will advance American interests, whether in outer space or here at home. I now turn to Ranking Member Cantwell for her opening remarks.
Thank you.
The Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation came together to begin an important session: the consideration of two major nominations that could influence America's leadership in the sky above us and in global markets here on Earth. The first nominee, Jared Isaacman, is being considered to serve as the next administrator of NASA, an appointment that comes at a time many describe as an inflection point. NASA is facing immense pressure as the United States enters what many call the second space race, a competition not just for achievement but for global leadership. China is rapidly expanding its ambitions, openly planning to land its astronauts on the moon by 2030, and this committee recognizes the urgency. America's response must be disciplined and strategic. NASA cannot do everything at once. It must prioritize, refocus, and make decisive choices about the missions that matter most. That responsibility would fall on Mr. Isaacman, who, if confirmed, would take charge just as Artemis II prepares for launch. This mission marks the first time since 1972 that humans will travel so close to the moon. Its success will be a defining milestone for America's return to deep space exploration. The committee expressed strong confidence in Isaacman, who is not only a successful entrepreneur but also a pioneer in private spaceflight. As the commander of Inspiration 4, the first all-civilian mission into orbit and the first private citizen to perform a spacewalk, he understands firsthand the dangers, responsibilities, and teamwork required for complex missions. His experience offers a unique blend of leadership and realism that NASA urgently needs. Beyond rockets and spacecraft, NASA's strength lies in its people. The Johnson Space Center in Houston continues to be home to some of the world's most capable engineers, mission specialists, and astronauts. Preserving that talent, supporting their expertise, and ensuring stability within the agency are all seen as crucial priorities for NASA's next administrator. The committee believes that Isaacman values the workforce that powers the missions behind the scenes, the men and women who make American space exploration possible. As the United States pushes toward the moon through Artemis III and future missions, Congress has already provided major funding and clear direction. Billions have been committed to the Space Launch System, the Gateway Lunar Station, and future Artemis missions. These investments are a reflection of America's determination not just to return to the moon, but to stay there and lead. Alongside the NASA nomination, the committee also considered Stephen Haynes, nominated to serve within the International Trade Administration as Assistant Secretary for Industry and Analysis. His role is different but no less important in America's global competition. Haynes would help U.S. companies navigate foreign markets, overcome trade barriers, and compete more effectively, especially against economic challenges posed by China. With experience across federal agencies and diplomatic service, he is expected to provide valuable insight for American businesses operating internationally. Both nominees represent critical pieces of a bigger picture, strengthening America's leadership both beyond the horizon and here at home. Whether through advancing space exploration or shaping trade strategy, their roles reflect the same goal: ensuring the United States remains secure, competitive, and forward-thinking. The committee concluded its remarks by emphasizing the urgency of filling these positions. With significant missions ahead and global rivals advancing quickly, every delay could have consequences. The hope is to confirm these nominations swiftly so that America can continue moving forward with clarity, direction, and purpose. As America stands on the edge of a new era, one defined by courage, discovery, and determination, leadership matters now more than ever. The choices made today will shape the missions of tomorrow. From the launch pads in Florida to the boardrooms of global commerce, the decisions guiding our future must be bold, wise, and unwavering. If you found this breakdown powerful and insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so more people can stay informed about the decisions shaping our world. This is Light of Yaqeen, where clarity meets conviction, and where every story reminds us that purpose drives progress. Until next time, keep seeking truth and keep reaching for the stars.